Well, we got the beer going, and I don't know, this is a new thing that just came out. Loncaro, I don't know. Grapefruit,
5%.
5%, doesn't even taste like alcohol, which is terrifying.
Tastes like grapefruit.
YouTube, we are drinking, but this is not for children, so we're just going to talk about whatever we want to.
5% of fun. That's not alcohol.
You're right. It's just it's a good time. It's to have a good time. Well, yeah, it's already. What is this? Today's the 10th, like December 10th.
Yeah, this is the 10th.
And like on the Great Lakes, obviously, the Great Lakes is the largest freshwater lakes in the entire world, and many people don't understand that shipping is and has been for literally hundreds of years been a gigantic. It's played a key pivotal role in the entire United States forever, since we possibly since it's been discovered throughout the war and throughout whatnot. And funny thing that people don't really understand about is there's so many boats, there are so many ships that are what, like 60, 70, 80 years old.
Most of them are like at least 50 years old.
Yeah, usually because they just work. And
I
know
there's nothing that like saltwater's. It's pretty hard.
You're right. It's all freshwater, but like
freshwater doesn't do anything.
No, it literally doesn't do a single thing. But
there's literally an 82 year old boats.
They are the Alpina and the Tregurtha are both from 42. I think.
Yeah, they are. Lake Tregurtha. That Alpina beat it by like a couple months.
I think so, but also I think it technically beat it because that was built to be a lake boat.
Right.
Alpina was built to be a lake boat, which. I got him into this. I got him into this boat stuff, and the Lee Tregurtha is his favorite one, just because of its history.
It's from World War II.
It literally
it's a tanker, or it's an oiler. I think the official term is it was an oiler.
Does that still mean tanker?
Or but I think they call them oilers, not tankers.
Boy, my freaking right eyeball is really itchy. But yeah, no, that was launched in, or I don't know if it was launched in 41, started service in 42 or whatnot, but. Yeah, it was built during the war. Was it in the Pacific?
It was both Atlantic and Pacific. It started in the Atlantic, and then as the necessity for it in the Atlantic was non-existent, I think like after D-Day, it kind of transitioned to the Pacific, and it has 2 or 3 battle ribbons.
I don't know exactly, but yeah, I know it definitely has either 2 or more because
one of my favorite things about it is that it has
right on the front pilot house is it has
even now that it's been completely changed
because it's completely different. It's been on the Great Lakes. I don't know exactly when they converted it. I know it was
the 50s.
In the 50s. Okay, so but they brought it. I don't even know what they were doing. I don't even know how we acquired it because is it for the Interlake steamship? I think it is.
Yeah, I
think it is.
Cause they weren't the original. They didn't convert it, I don't believe. But
because they lengthened that. They shortened the Alpina.
Mm-hmm.
They lengthened the Tregurtha.
I need to look it up.
Just look it up. But yeah, the Lee Tregurtha was built for World War II. After the war, they used it for a couple of years. I don't know if it just went in layup or whatever they did, and somehow somebody bought it. He's looking it up, and then they converted it into a straight classic lake freighter. Forward pilot house, water cab over. That's what we call it because up in the front.
The cab is before the engine, so it's a cab over.
It's a cab over.
Just like the semis that you don't see anymore because we suck. Anyways,
we do.
It's called. It was originally coined the USS Chihuahua.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a Chihuahua, and it was a Kennebec class oiler for the Navy, and it's named after a river in Washington. I don't know if it's Washington State or not. Oh wow, it's registered out of Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah. So it was launched in the 25th of June, 1942, and commissioned December 24th, 1942.
Okay, so it was launched and entered service in 42.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And it's got 2 battle stars.
2. Okay. Well, still, that's nuts.
Let's look at its awards. So it has these are the ribbons that are on the side of the pilot house. It has the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal. It has the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal. It's got the World War II Victory and Navy Occupation Service Medal. So obviously the first 2 are pretty straightforward. Actually, really the first 3 are pretty straightforward, being that it served in literally every naval theater.
Yeah, that's pretty. I didn't know. I thought it was just in the Pacific. Right. For some reason, I thought I read that.
And it was built early enough that it
Yeah,
to
it was
serve
it
everywhere.
was both, right?
And it's even crazier to think that it's being used every single day.
Yeah, it's still in service to this day. Like I don't know from the time of layup from when they started the conversion process, but after it was converted, it's never been laid up, other than to add the boom. I believe, other than to add the cell phone loader, which they might have even put that on it because it was in the 50s, but it's never been laid up. It's been in active service and minus winter layup every year. But other than that, every single day, engines never shut off,
It's crazy.
always working.
Think about that. 82-year-old. Think of it just like a guy, like an 82-year-old guy, putting in just as much work as everybody else for literally since he was born and even to now.
And it's perfect. They don't give it up because they work.
It's great.
They're so awesome.
There's nothing super wrong. I mean, like, it's not, the hull's in great shape, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't use it, but it's just crazy to think about
because they've had every single reason to let it go that they want. They don't have to keep using it. For example,
think of how many. I mean, we were talking about the other one the other day. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember.
But it's the same story. It was an oiler that they converted to a lake freighter, and unfortunately it got scrapped, which is just a disgrace. It should have been saved, but don't have money to save everything.
Just because, like, even all scattered throughout the Great Lakes, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, there's lake freighters that are old that are just sitting. They're on a long-term layup is what they call it, because they don't know if they can reuse it, or they don't know if they're just going to... It's basically just an asset to have. If something happens, like, for example, I believe it was the beginning of this year, the Midshipman almost sank, that Canadian one, because I remember I was at work and I freaked out, and I had to yell at my coworker Dan that the Midshipman was sinking, and he had no idea what I was talking about, or he didn't care, both. But there's a picture like as it was happening, because I don't know what happened. Did it actually strike something? Because it was a big gap.
The hull cracked.
Okay, the hull.
13-foot hull cracked. Because I just read about this a few days ago and talked to him about it. Of course, he knew way before I did, because I just got into this.
I think it was like in the beginning of the year.
It was. So I watched a video, and it was getting towed into wherever they do the testing, the structural testing, which is up off of Lake Superior somewhere. But that was beginning of June when it got towed into that.
Because they haven't used it since, I'm pretty sure.
No, I mean,
it's been sitting.
13-foot.
Because I know that they temporarily fixed it.
Right.
Which, temporary, they can't haul anything just because it's... But that's gigantic.
Yeah.
That is a gigantic crack.
That's like a car.
Yeah, literally.
The length of a car.
And it's terrifying because, oh no, we're sinking. Oh, well, okay, well, now what? This is real life. Mm-hmm. Like, we're sinking. I don't know if could they actually have anything. I can't remember. I don't remember if they were actually hauling anything.
Yeah, they were.
They were.
Yeah,
that's right, because I remember a ship came next to it, and they transferred whatever they had.
And they went down to a skeleton crew.
Yep.
As few crews they could to get it, to limp it to the closest port. And then from there it was, actually I think they limped it to as close as a tug could come out, and then they tugged it, temporarily fixed it, and then brought it to this place from the video I watched a few days ago.
Yeah.
So I got some stuff pulled up about the Tregurtha still.
Back to this.
It was first called the SS Walter A. Sterling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was.
And this is like after they converted it to a lake freighter. Or is this just like
is
the
its first name.
Okay, as a lake freighter.
Okay. And it was launched as a lake freighter in 1961. So it probably took a few years. So late 50s, sure. I would assume they started converting it into a lake freighter.
Because it's awesome, because it was not thought of and designed to ever become a lake freighter
at all. Yeah,
ever.
And it was done in Lorain, which is really cool. That's about an hour from where we're sitting right here, Lorain, Ohio, at the American Shipbuilding, which I don't think exists anymore.
I don't think so.
Oh wait,
I don't know if that does, but because there's a couple. I think American Shipbuilding Company is. Yeah, American Shipbuilding is what built the Fitzgerald, I think.
Probably.
Too.
But so they did that in 1961. It was finished. Cleveland Cliffs.
Yep.
They had it.
Oh, really? They had it?
Yeah, which is even cooler. And they integrated a 510-foot mid-body cargo section. It was built in Germany and towed across the Atlantic Ocean.
The boom?
No,
or
no,
not
the
boom.
midsection of the
midship.
ship.
Oh, okay.
510 feet of the Tregurtha was made in Germany, which is funny because it helped.
Wow.
It helped destroy that country.
Wow.
It's
That's
insane.
awesome.
Um,
We're so awesome. America.
yeah.
We're so drink to that. But yeah, that's definitely a ship because I've seen a couple of them. I've just over the years because I've always been up around the Marblehead, Sandusky area, which you got I think that's Lafarge in Marblehead, which I think that's just limestone. I believe.
Yeah,
I think that's just
they have
limestone.
a
Because they got the whole quarry there. And Sandusky's a coal dock, which who runs that? Is that
Norfolk Southern.
Norfolk Southern. Okay, so they run that.
It was a Pennsylvania coal dock, and then it went to Norfolk and Western, and then obviously that's Norfolk Southern now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's anybody listening that knows about trains,
I don't. I think trains are sweet. That's why we're literally doing this because he can just talk, and I'm just like, all right, I'm cool with that.
All this stuff,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pennsylvania, Penn Central, and then Conrail. Well, this section of the Pennsylvania Railroad did not go even into Penn Central. It went straight to Norfolk and Western because Pennsylvania owned Norfolk and Western, and they were struggling a little bit, so they gave them that, or they sold it to them for really cheap. But given is kind of to help them out,
right.
And it's kind of fun, kind of ironic that the parent company ultimately failed, and the I don't know if you want to call it the child company outlived it. But anyways, so that coal dock is run by Norfolk Southern, then Norfolk Western before that, and then Pennsylvania from the time it was built until the 60s. So,
do you know how old it is? Like how old the actual war dock is?
No,
it's got to be old.
It is
old. It's got to be really
absolutely
old.
You know, probably. Yeah, it's got to be it could be 120 years old, something like that. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it's been around there for forever.
Yeah, that's awesome. But like we live in Ohio, and obviously we got Lake Erie right there. And when I was little, whenever you're growing up, you got to choose what kind of autism that you want. You either want trains, planes, boats, or just whatever. What's the next one? Like dinosaurs or something cool.
I mean,
like that.
you know, if you're I can't say. I was gonna say if you're a loser, dinosaurs, but I like dinosaurs too.
Yeah, dinosaurs are cool. Well,
cool.
I was always boats. I love the Titanic and all that. You know, I had always whatever. I would live and die Titanic. Like that was my thing. I loved it, and I always liked these boats just because I thought they were cool. Because you know, you always see you see cruise ships, you see tanker ships, and for some reason I thought like the two pilot houses in the front rear. I was like, that's awesome for some reason. And now that I'm older and I just have once you get a license and you can just like drive and just like do whatever you want, it's nuts. Like we've driven up to Cleveland at the bulk terminal just to go look at boats.
Yep.
Just to go do it. Whiskey Island, and which is also another industrial hub, which is over. I don't know how long. I don't know how old that is either. It's over 100 years old, probably.
Really old, and that's another Pennsylvania railroad.
Is it?
I take that back. It might not be Pennsy. I think it's actually at New York Central.
Is that like who started it? Like is that like who?
Yeah. Because their tracks are right there. But no, living so close to Cleveland. I mean, we have
options.
We have everything, and we have all the autisms that you just stated.
Yeah, we do. We have planes, trains,
and boats,
and cab overs,
and even dinosaurs. Because there's like a museum up there for that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm never going.
No, not at all.
Never going there.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, it's great. Industrial history is really cool. We got the steel mills. Those are pretty sweet.
Because Cleveland Cliffs is still there.
Yeah.
Are they still? But they're not under the name Cleveland Cliffs anymore.
They're still Cleveland Cliffs.
Okay, I thought it was just Cliffs or something.
I
thought that was
well, it might be, but it's the Cleveland.
Right, it's still Cleveland Cliffs, but
their steel mill is still there,
and they still bring in ships.
Yeah.
There is a ship in the Cuyahoga River almost every single day, from the end of winter layup to the beginning of the next year's winter layup. Like there's always a boat in the Cuyahoga. If you want to know anything about the Cuyahoga River, look it up. It's insane. Its entire history of widening it, and bridges, and all that stuff, blah,
A
blah,
lot
blah.
of cool bridges that are
A
still
lot of
there.
cool bridges that are just there. Like, they don't even work anymore. They're just there. Like, we went to go look at that, too.
Yeah, we did.
Because why not? It's just free roam.
You know what's crazy is that line, that train line, literally begins like 30 minutes from here.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's it begin?
Sterling.
Oh, okay.
Well, I shouldn't say it begins there because a part of it is right there. You could kind of say it begins because that section is still like used like and entirely intact, and the southern section that you have to go a little bit further east. It's weird. It was built as two separate railroads, but it was completely disconnected. Like it's like a road, like a car road. Like you have to go into another road, as in this instance railroad, go down, and then go on the other portion of that to be on the same like.
Yeah. Huh.
It's weird, but yeah, the part of it that's left is still owned by the company that built it, or has, I guess I shouldn't say built it, but bought the companies that built it. It starts in Sterling, Ohio,
Huh.
and it goes all the way up to Cleveland. There's still a roundhouse up there too, actually. Old
Is that
train
used?
roundhouse. It is. It's not owned by the that railroad anymore. It's owned by like a historical society
Oh,
type
okay.
thing.
I was gonna say there's no way that they actually use it on like a main line for anything.
It's well, that whole route is not a main line. It's not. It's barely used.
But yeah, it's just crazy to think about history because, well, let's put it this way. For my line of work, I am a automotive mechanic. I am 21 years old, and you have to do something to entertain yourself, or else, like, if you go to work for 9 hours and then come home and like just go to bed and then do that for like
You
4
blow your
years,
brains out.
you will literally blow your brains out because of how bored you get. And some people may hate it. Like, some people may think that we're two dumbasses right now for talking about this, but I don't really care.
No,
Because if you want to listen to this, here, Merry Christmas, here you go. I think history is awesome. I think history is awesome.
And if you don't talk about it, it's just gonna be lost.
Just because like we're talking about history that, like, you know, people know history. Everybody knows the Titanic. Everybody knows some really like Hindenburg.
Right.
Nobody gives two shits about some railroads that went through Cleveland at this time. Nobody
or
gives
some
two
lake
shits,
freighter
or like
that
some
was-
giant piece of steel that like moves down the Cuyahoga River and then just like sits, unloads, and leaves. Like nobody cares about that, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that's just my hot take on it. Thank you. I'm gonna drink this beer. Oh, this is still good stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's kind of depressing too. Like getting into it now and seeing
No,
how
yeah.
much we've lost in the last 20 years with everything, really. I mean, lake freighters specifically, well, since that's kind of the main point of this.
Yeah.
This
Just-
time.
yeah. This topic.
You know, there's so many boats that have been scrapped in the last 20 years.
I know.
Granted, as a baby, not like it would have made any difference, but like even the last 10 years.
Yeah. Even in the last 10 years, there's been multiple boats that I'm pretty sure that I've seen, or like there's a drone. I had a drone and I was just doing some stupid videos like 6 or 7 years ago, and in the background, way in the background at the Sandusky Ore Dock, you've seen a boat leaving, and I can't even get it. If I can find it, I'll put it up so you guys can see it. But it's, you know, Forward Pilot House. It's the same colors as the Midstipin. I'm pretty sure it was the Mississauga. I can't remember what it is. It was scrapped 2 or 3 years ago.
Really?
It's little, or littler, and I'm pretty sure that's the boat. And like now, back, I didn't even notice the boat back then. I was like, I'm just gonna fly my drone, and now I'm like, wow, I am such an idiot.
So that the like, I don't know, you might be able to call it the sister ship of the Tregurtha, the one I was talking about that got scrapped.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know anything about that.
The SS Middleton, Middletown.
That's, you know, for some reason I thought, because that was part of the Ford fleet.
Well, the Tregurtha was too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because the Middleton, I remember seeing pictures of it. I just thought that was the Tregurtha. Like, I actually thought that was just
They
the
look
Tregurtha.
almost
'Cause
identical.
they look almost the same, like the
And
pilot house.
They're the same. They're the same original boat. The
Okay, so they just...
Kennebec class oiler.
Okay, so
Both
they
World War
literally
II
just...
boats. And I saw somebody say something about the boom off of the Kennebec is on the Mark Barker.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's true. It's just a Facebook rumor, maybe. But it'd be cool if it was, and it would be kind of smart because it was the Middleton was actually it went to like Turkey to get scrapped. So in theory, it might still be around, but I mean, not in any usable.
Well,
that's kind of crazy to think about. Someone towing a boat the entirety across.
Yeah, they crossed
Atlantic Ocean.
literally half the world.
Yeah.
To go get scrapped. Like somebody over, like, how do you even find that? Like, like this old lake freighter's for sale. I'm gonna buy it for scrap.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna scroll down here. The Tregurtha, back to that real quick. It was the SS William Clay Ford II.
Okay, that I've seen that. I thought that was just the Tregurtha.
That is a Tregurtha. That's what I'm back.
Okay,
You're
right. You're right. Yeah, you said that that was part of the Ford fleet too.
And they only had it for 4 years, and then it went to Interlake. And Interlake's had it since '89
because they could have just got rid of it right then and there.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
That's another thing too that nobody there's literally nothing out there about this. Like we need to make something about this. The entire Ford fleet.
Yeah.
Ford was a major part of the entirety of just ships. I think they had at one point their biggest fleet was like 4 or 5, and they were all water cab overs at the time because they were.
They bought older boats,
Yeah, they bought older boats and they would just refit them. I mean, they use them for the same purpose, just transporting taconite pellets.
It's crazy.
I don't know. I think it was in Pennsylvania. I don't think it was in Ohio.
So
whatever plant they had.
I understand why they did it. It's like the same reason that like Jeff Bezos has his own fleet of trucks now to do Amazon packages, because if you control the steel, how the steel because he probably had a stake in some of the the railroads and stuff. But anyways, if you control the transportation, that's a big part of it. You control it, how it gets to you, how much it costs to get to you. I'm sure at a point in time, it's probably worth buying and managing your own fleet of lake freighters.
Well, yeah, think about it. Think about it this way: you have probably a 600-700 foot ore carrier. You just send it up to wherever you get, like where you've always gotten your stuff from.
Right.
And then you just get it delivered right to your factory.
Yeah, you don't have to pay the middleman.
You don't got to do any kind of trains. You don't got to do any kind of this. The middleman, you just run your own ship. You find the guys to make it. Go get this load. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Because you know that they weren't as busy as like Interlake is right now. Because it's just a Ford plant. I mean, I know just a Ford. It's big, but nowhere near as big as they're just making automobiles.
Yeah.
But still.
And I'm sure
lake freighter for that. It's
I'm
awesome.
sure at the time, like they had way more factories. I mean, my gosh, in Cleveland, we've gone past right by the airport there. They used to have a huge Ford plant, and it's gone now. And I'm sure it was like that all over the place. They had factories like that, and I'm sure once they had to close stuff down like that, that's probably when they sold them. But yeah, they had. Hopefully, we'll have to do more in depth about that sometime.
Yeah, because there's and like the same thing with Cleveland Cliffs. I don't know how many lake freighters they had with Cleveland Cliffs, but they had a lot.
Oh yeah, they were one of the leading companies.
And there's a Cleveland Cliffs lake freighter that's really specific, where the stern, like crew quarters, that's where usually like on Ford Pilot House boats the crew would sleep in the rear.
Yeah.
They had it in the middle, so they had I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they had the Ford Pilot House like normal.
Yeah.
And they had that in the middle, so they had like this section of bays.
Yeah.
And then they had more back here. When they put it, I don't know if they built it for that reason, but there's very little videos on it. There's very little anything, but it looks awesome. And I can't find it. There's like a couple, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's awesome.
Well, and we got
Cliffs Victory. Look it up.
The Cliffs Victory?
Cliffs Victory. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the boat. It's whack. But they had a couple other freighters. Like they still have one.
The Mather, right?
Yeah, the William G. Mather. That one is docked permanently in Cleveland. It's been there for like 10, 15 years, and they repainted to the original Cleveland Cliffs.
Yep, that's Cliffs Victory.
Is it?
You're right.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about it, but I don't even know what happened to it. But
that's another World War II boat.
Was it?
Yeah.
I wonder why, because I don't think they would build it like that just for this. That's cool.
Wow. Let's see.
But yeah. They have an entire, there's multiple lake freighters across the not United States, but around the Great Lakes area, where they just, they have old retired lake freighters. You can go in and they turn into like a museum ship, or you want to do whatever. And they have one of the best ones honestly, the best ones that you can go visit some of the best ones are just in Ohio.
Yeah.
You have the Mather, which is in Cleveland, which is right, literally right on
Great Lakes
Cleveland,
Science Center.
right behind the Great Lakes Science Center. It's a full museum. You can walk the entire ship. They got guided tours. They repainted it to the Cleveland Cliff, the only existing Cleveland Cliffs lake freighter, I'm pretty sure, which is awesome because they repainted and make it look just like how it did in the 60s.
Right.
And the other one is the Schoonmaker in Toledo, and I've been there. You need it. We need to go there.
Right.
Again.
We need to go see both of them.
Yeah, we need to go see both of them.
Isn't there one that's another water cab over that's abandoned up there in Toledo?
Yeah, there is. I've seen it. American Baylor.
Yeah.
That one is a sister ship to the Arthur M. Anderson. And I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that if you know anything, you've heard of the Arthur M. Anderson. It's pretty.
We got to see that one too in action.
Yes, we did. That's when we drove up to Cleveland to go see it. It was worth every second of it.
Whiskey Island. It's really cool up there. You know, they got like 3 parks right up there on the lakefront, right? Mm-hmm. Or 2 parks. No, it is about 3 parks up there.
It's a lot. Because the entirety of Whiskey Island used to be an entire, you couldn't go there, all industrial, and obviously things have shrunk. They still have the bulk terminal. It's still massive there. Yep. Ships go there every single day.
Where the Hewletts used to be.
Yeah, right where the Hewletts used to be, which we have a video out on that on the channel as well. Just a short little thing. You can look up other people made better stuff. They're awesome. I think they're insane. They're just cranes, but they're awesome.
They're so cool.
And now they're literally gone forever. Which I don't know how they are not they have to be getting in trouble for this. I know they have been because they're registered.
Yeah, so it was in the 1990s was when they got taken down. I think 96 is when they officially got torn down. Before that, it was listed as a historic landmark. So I'm sure people have seen stuff like that. If you are listening to this, you have to care about it a little bit. That it's basically protected by the government. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything to it, at least on purpose. Well, somehow they got around that and they tore them down.
I remember looking up, they had legal battles, they've had all kinds of stuff, and they just wanted to tear it down because I understand it because it was still an active port and they needed them gone because they last used them, I think, in 91 or 1990 because almost all ships now they had cell phone loaders. The reason for the Hewlett was, ships didn't have cell phone loaders like a big boom or anything, so ships would come in, water cabovers would come in, dudes would ride down in the buckets, scoop them out, that's it. Load them in the train cars, off they go to wherever they're going. And obviously they really didn't need that anymore because there was, I think at the time when they retired them, there was only 5 or 6 cabovers that didn't have. So they really didn't have a need for it. I think Cleveland was the last functioning.
It might have been the
Hewletts.
last.
And so they didn't abandon them, but they just out of service because they didn't need them anymore. Mm-hmm. And from 91 to 95, I believe they were in the way pretty much because they wanted to be able to park. They wanted to park 2 lake freighters next to each other to load and unload, which that makes sense. You want to, but the Hewletts were right there. They could move across the entirety of pretty much the whole island wherever they needed to go, but side to side. But they were in the way.
Yeah.
And so they said, yes, these are on the historical registry. Yes, they are a pain in our ass. We needed to get off, go away. And people who cared about it, like us, were they formed an entire society about them, the Hewlett Society, and they were like, how about no? Screw you. Fuck you. Don't touch our stuff. And they were like, all right. So they left them up. They tore down, I think there were 6 of them originally. They tore down 2 of them, which that really pissed them off. But they were like, no, there's still 4, so we're still technically fine. And they were like, screw you. But still, and then they just tore them down. But they tore them down, but they didn't scrap them, and that's how they
they scrap? They saved 2.
They saved 2 full ones.
And they scrapped.
The other 4.
And then up until earlier this year, and now it's completely gone.
Because they just dismantled them, laid them pretty much in the middle of the Whiskey Island.
Yeah.
The bulk terminal, literally, also right in their way, but not in their way. And they worked around it for what was that? They took them down in I think 1999.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Fully
disassembled them. So what? 23, 24 years. They dealt with it, and they were like, all right, this is stupid. So
and honestly, they probably we were up there. And there was nothing anywhere close to it. It was not directly impeding any sort of space. I'm sure the same reason that the first 4 were gone to begin with. It was really just greed. They didn't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
So
they're sick of looking at them. I know they're not doing anything.
And they're not really in the way. But they want the property to do absolutely nothing with. So they got rid of them. And that's what happened this year. Unfortunately, I don't think there wasn't enough backlash to really get anything to happen about it, even though they technically did something very illegal.
They did do something very illegal, but there wasn't a purpose for it, I guess is what they would say. Is there's no
at least
point.
They saved something. It's
they did, because they saved a full bucket, and they saved a train, I believe, one of the pushers or one of the somethings that they're going to restore and put some. Did they say?
I think they're going to put it in one of the parks up there.
That's what they want. Yeah, that's what they want. They want to put it
up there.
Yeah, they want to put. They originally wanted to resurrect a whole Hewlett next to the Mather.
Yeah,
which would have been cool, but that's a lot of work.
The money wasn't.
There was never going to be the money there.
Yeah,
and they knew it, but they still saved the Hewlett in a shunter train just because they're going to put the bucket somewhere in the train.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they know where, but in one of the parks up there. So whenever that goes, we're going to have to go see it.
Yeah,
it's right
absolutely.
there. I need to go touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Have to. But yeah, that's just a little Hewlett lesson for you.
Yeah.
It's just
a big part of Lake Freighters and Northeast Ohio.
I mean, they revolutionized the entire unloading process.
The
of
inventor he's from Conneaut.
Yeah, and they had Hewletts everywhere.
They did
because that was the thing. Like he patented that, and every single terminal, everywhere on the Great Lakes were like, this is nuts, because it literally dropped the price. It dropped the price of unloading. I don't remember what exactly the scale was, but it was like from like 13 cents to like 6 cents or something like that. So they had them everywhere, because they had them in Cleveland. In Ohio, they had them in Cleveland, Ashtabula, Conneaut, Lorain, I think Sandusky somewhere. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably likely.
Because the only...
I bet you every bulk commodity...
There they had some kind of fuel. Not that they all looked the same, but they had them everywhere because they need them, because, we barely even... They didn't have any self-unloader booms at the time, but now we do.
Yeah.
Makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But
sucks for the coolness factor, but it is what it is.
Yeah, stuff happens, but still, it's illegal, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if we would have known, God forbid, if we would have known that they were going to be scrapped, I would have 100% trespassed and tried to steal something off of it. Like, you would have been right. Like, we would have I would have gotten arrested, but if I would have got a bolt from it, that'd be worth every second.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I don't know how long it's been, but I think that's a pretty good wrap for now.
Yeah.
It's just two guys rambling on, drinking beer, and
for however long,
I don't know.
It is what it is.
Maybe film another one just to get it out.
Yeah.
Now that we're
should.
I need to finish this.
That Cliffs Victory. It was a different type of World War II ship. It wasn't an oiler like the Middleton and the Tregurtha were. It was a Victory ship, which is just like a general.
Oh yeah, it was just a Victory. I thought it was smaller.
It is.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a little bit smaller.